The FNB Art Joburg, it's a staple in Johannesburg's cultural calendar, and it is set to return to the Sandton Convention Centre from September 6th to the 8th, and it's now in its 17th edition. The fair has established itself in showcasing contemporary African art and culture alike. Now, like each and every year, the fair will bring together all the best artists under one roof in Johannesburg. And so this morning, to share a little bit more about this year's installment, we are joined by Managing Director of the festival, Mandla Sibeko. Mandla, good morning. Thank you for joining us at this hour.
Thank you for having me here. Yeah, it's wonderful to be back again.
17th
a year
edition.
Later.
Congrats. I mean, this is no easy feat. The creative economy, just also bringing artists under one roof and really having an appreciation for it. What goes into creating these art fairs? What's different about this exhibition this time around?
Sure. Yeah, it is a lot of work.
Yeah.
So it's quite easy to look at the aesthetics and the beauty of it and think like, okay, how did it get here? And you're not sure how. So a lot of work goes into it. So it does take us a year to produce this. You know, there's an entire ecosystem, the communication with the galleries, communication with the artist, trying to position the theme, looking at the design, and then, of course, ultimately leading up to the communication and then the build-up and the infrastructure that's required, the walling that is required, because art is about presentation and light.
Absolutely.
So there's a lot of attention that goes into how you present the show. So yeah, it is 17 years, and I feel a sense of pride. You know, I didn't start the fair. I came in, I've been around for 9 years now. Can you believe it? Time goes very quickly. And with this new edition, we're very excited because we, you know, it feels like the fair has really grown in terms of size. It really, because we've divided the fair into so many exciting sections.
Yes.
So we're not just about people coming through and buying art, but we're about taking you on a learning journey. So there's different sections. So with this edition, I'd say the most exciting thing is that we're actually launching a photographic section.
Yes. Perhaps you could speak a little bit more about that. And even the sections that you're speaking about, there are about 6 specialized divisions. Talk to us about the intention behind that and navigating those experiences for those who come through.
So we have a section in the fair called Max. Max is really where we present very large-scale works that you would ordinarily not see in South Africa, because we don't have spaces to show work of that scale, but often has been seen overseas. So this is really the first time, I think, on African soil that you can actually see large-scale work. And we've been doing this now for 3 years, which is really exciting. So it gives you a sense of scale and dream as well. So that's Max section, and then we move into a GIF. GIF is really the new section, which is really celebrating photography. Johannesburg has given birth to some of the most, I guess, legends in the world who've really put South Africa on the map.
Yes.
Before 1994 and after 1994, what better way to start taking a journey towards celebrating photography? And then we have other sections called the Hub, which is really where you're going to find the best of contemporary art. These are galleries that do represent South Africa all over the world, and they have the biggest content in terms of Pan-African artists who are represented there. So often when people are looking for representation of artists, they look at those galleries. So we have them all showcasing, and then we have a section called Hub. Hub is really where we celebrate the new cutting-edge stuff that's coming from the continent. So we have a lot of galleries that are coming in from West Africa, East Africa. So we really open up this place, and it's really subsidized in many ways by FNB to make sure that people have access, because, you know, people can be stopped from attending art fairs or from showing because of costs.
Absolutely.
And the continent, as much as there's a lot of interest in sort of African art globally, we don't have as much infrastructure as Europeans and America. So this space, this section does really give people a platform to showcase for the first time. So some of them I've seen have started in Joburg and are now showcasing around the world, which is really fantastic.
And I mean, before we get into the prize winner, I actually wanted to talk about the BMW art generation that also comes to the fore.
Absolutely.
But you're fusing food, fashion, music, performance at large. I mean, it's an entire experience along that value chain.
Absolutely. It was important for us as we grow as a fair that we start to look at patronage, because that's the only way you're going to sustain an art economy, through people really understanding what it is to patronize. what we noticed was that there was a big cohort of the kind of the older generation that were now retiring and stepping away or passing away. We needed to find ways in which we could empower the next generation of South Africans. So the BMW Young Collectors Corps is exactly that. And the BMW Collectors Corps is exactly that, which is really the bringing together of young, kind of under 40s and over 40s in the other program to give them access full on, not only just to buy art, but just to educate them, because this is a cohort of people who really at the cusp of leadership. They're starting to take up leadership in South Africa or are leading institutions. So you want them to be really empowered to make decisions when it comes to culture. In many ways, maybe we're trying to influence them. So maybe we are influencers.
Well, let's sit for Tad Mandla at this point. I actually wanted to look at the point about, you know, showcasing African work as well, because it really speaks to agency as well. Particularly in that global picture, we asserting ourselves and saying, you know, this is what we have to offer. Talk to us about that, inclusivity, equity, but even just its contribution to our economy at large, stimulating that more for artists.
Sure. There's such a big contribution that the visual arts market is making. One is not so much that it's recognized from a tourist perspective. Quite a lot of the people who buy the work are sitting in the global ecosystem. So when the works go out, there's a catalog that goes out to people all over the world, literally, who are buying African work. So it's really important that we also get South Africans to start to support. They have to show up. I think you're as strong as your local market. So what we're trying to do is to celebrate African artists on African soil, to make sure that they are recognized. So very much you see quite a lot of them that are the successful ones. Quite known in the Europe and American scene, but no one really knows them in South Africa. So we're trying to make sure that that doesn't happen. But at the same time, there's a whole lot of artists who are not known. And so we want to make sure that South Africans, so when it comes to the
maybe
art
coming
prize,
to that, into some of those artists, just as we wrap up, got a minute left. Tapiwe, Gresham Tapiwe Nyaudi, I mean, he was the art prize winner this time round.
He is,
Talk us through that selection process and also showcasing his work, that offering, how it speaks to the theme of this year as well.
Absolutely. So that prize is very important. The FNB Art Prize is one of the leading art prize in South Africa. So Tapiwa is the winner. He's from Zimbabwe. This is the third time or second time, if I'm correct, that we have a Zimbabwean winning. Zimbabwe leads in many ways in painting. If you look at their contribution to this art ecosystem, is that they've got some of the greatest painters. So we're very excited for him. He'll have a show next year in South Africa at Joburg Art Gallery, and some of his work will already be at the show. But it's really around recognizing talent and really supporting them on their journey.
And of course, Lindo Guhle, who won last year, Sibeko, he had just showcased his solo exhibition. Mandla, you're doing great things. Thank you for uniting the continent and adding to our agency at large and being part of that creative history and heritage. We'll leave that conversation there. Good luck. 6th to the 8th of September. That is when the FNB Art Joburg will be returning to the Sandton Convention Centre for its 17th edition. Just spoke to Managing Director of the festival, Mandla Sibeko, on what we can expect for the 2024 edition.